With the Citizens Police Academy, the biggest benefit really for the citizens is for them to get an insider's look on how the police department works, how we function, what the officers go through in certain situations. So just kind of get them more involved and just to see it from our perspective and for them to learn and understand what we go through on a daily basis. I took certain topics, common topics that people know about the police department, such as criminal law, communications, CDS, which is drugs, K-9. I took those topics, put them on a schedule, and I chose the instructors by their expertise.
Unless I have some probable cause or reasonable suspicion that he's either got a weapon on his person or narcotics on his person or something that I need to get.
This is an extended period of time, the 10 weeks that allowed us to see the different phases and the training that went behind it. I thought it was really a good experience. I'm really glad because it has given me, a frontline perspective on what the duties are.
The academy was a very eye-opening thing for me because we see just the police in the street, but the work that they do is very impressive ones.
It helped me understand a lot better what goes on here and why things are the way they are.
I found it enlightening and exciting at times and funny and a little bit scary.
I learned the ultimate experience of police work, what they go through on a daily basis, and which is kind of shocking to me.
Each week, I thought I enjoyed the week before, but each week was even more. I had no idea just the traffic stops. Holy schmazzoli. You have got to do so many, it's multitasking at its highest level. And then, as you approach the car, you have no idea what's going to show up. And you need to actually do it as though as though it's going to be a bit dangerous.
I watch all the cop shows on TV, so I found out what was true and what wasn't true, so it was interesting.
I never realized there were so many different types of drugs out there on the street and learning how people use them.
It's a little grinder, and what people will do is they'll put the buds of the marijuana in there and grind it up real fine so they can then use that to put into cigarettes.
I want to see this continue. I want to see more citizens involved. I think the Citizens Academy met all its goals and objectives. I think the residents had a great time. I think they learned a lot, and I think the officers enjoyed it just as much, getting a chance to teach people about what we do and go behind the scenes with us.
I enjoyed getting to know the actual police officers that were teaching the course, getting the information firsthand.
I was really surprised at how your physiological responses are when you drink.
I found out that when I'm absolutely sober, can't stand on my left foot. So the presentations were very comfortable and enlivened, and I learned a lot.
I'm really in amazement about all the regulations, all the rules that they have to just carry in their heads as they carry on.
It was a very good experience, and I highly recommend anybody to try it. They will like it.
The hope is that the more information we get out about how we operate, the less mystery that exists, and when police departments do take action on different things, that the citizens understand why that action occurred and how it's reasonable for police departments to operate.
I encourage anybody that can get in to take the course. It's really interesting, and it serves to make you aware of what's going on around you and gives you a better understanding of what your police are doing for you.
I would definitely recommend it. I've already recommended it to 5 other council members and the mayor, because it really gives you a true insight into what police work is about and what our police department does for us.
It's important for the average resident of the city to understand how hard our police work for us and what they're up against, just to be good public citizens.
They were very successful. They were committed for the 10 weeks, enthusiastic, support the police, so we were just pretty much here to celebrate that.
on the duties and obligations of a police officer and provide a glimpse into the aspects of police work. Did it accomplish that? You betcha. And with many, many gold stars.
We'll take this knowledge and go forward and be a better citizen in Takoma Park and continue to be a partner with the police department in making this the best community that it can be.
I'm really pleased that this went so successful. This is the beginning of something that I hope will continue years after I'm gone. I don't want to see it stop because I think it's so important to get the community involved with the police. And I think you all will be the groundbreaker, so to speak. Carla, I want to thank you for putting this together. Our first, let's give her a big hand.
I think it was an excellent graduation for the first session of the Citizens Police Academy, and I was very impressed with all of the areas that they covered and the appreciation of all of the participants, and I think the police staff who taught it enjoyed it, and I think it's going to be really good for more people in our community to understand what's involved in a professional police department, why they do what they do, and why they do it, how they do it.
The upcoming Citizens Academy is going to be this coming September 2012. If anyone's interested in attending, contact me, Officer Carla Magne here at the Takoma Park Police Department.
Two years ago when we first purchased it, and it was a diamond in the rough, to put it optimistically. And there were unsafe conditions, and the building was a potential blight on the neighborhood. This is called Silverflower Homes, and the building was bought about 2 years ago with Montgomery County, Maryland, financing the purchase. And then we did rehabilitation for about a year. The building had been condemned and needed a lot of work. And after about that 1 year, we were able to move residents in. And at that point, we were applying for funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And today we're celebrating that that funding has been granted from HUD.
We're here today to celebrate this newest accomplishment and our partner from Takoma Parks. It really is an asset to this neighborhood. It's a beautiful home. It's got great, thanks to our volunteers, wonderful landscaping.
A unit that's so beautifully renovated that it houses people who frequently are not welcome in neighborhoods, but it's clear that this house is an asset to the neighborhood, and its tenants are stable and happy and contributing members of the community.
Each resident pays 30% of their income as rent, and they sign a regular lease just like anybody else, a permanent lease that they can stay as long as they want to, as long as they're in compliance with the terms of their lease. But their rent is based on 30% of their income, and the remaining rent is made up by rental assistance from various government sources. In the case of this project, the remaining rental assistance will be coming from HUD.
It takes many helping hands to make a project successful. Builders want to help because we see the need in the community. We see the homeless adults, a great percentage of whom are disabled. We see the families displaced by the loss of a job or struggling to make ends meet. It is no secret that this has been one of the worst business climates for home builders in recent years. Many in the industry have lost their jobs. Many builders and trade contractors are still struggling to stay afloat. Yet we still care about our communities and are still finding ways to give back because we believe and agree with Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless that everyone deserves the dignity of a home.
I think it's hard to imagine for people who have never experienced homelessness, the trauma that either leads to it or is caused by it, to understand how amazing it is to actually have your own home when you actually have lived on the street. And so to provide a home to someone, which is what I believe is a basic human right, to have a home, is really very powerful. You know, that's why the work we do each day is so important, because we're really, really impacting people's lives in the most profound way.
Isn't that the kind of community we all want to live in, where all of us use our talent and treasure to help those in need? Volunteering can boost physical and mental health. People who give back to others lead more happy and healthy lives than those who do not volunteer.
There are 1,300 homeless people in Montgomery County. People are shocked at that, but the main reason they're homeless is because there's a lack of supply of affordable housing and affordable homes. And what we do is we create homes for people to move into, to make sure that they're habitable, they're home-like, but we also work with the tenants who move into the housing with support services that might be a case manager once a month or many more visits, just to make sure that someone can stay stably housed. So it really is about creating a stable home for someone to regain stability and move on and enjoy life and be a contributing member of the community.
Restoring communities, bringing back a condemned house, providing a place for families to live and to nurture and to become a part of the community again. But I think the most important part of this entire development is that we've got 6 families here who didn't have a home, who now have a home. And that's the most important thing.
Many people who are in our programs, when you get to know them, they're someone's grandmother, they're someone's grandfather. I mean, we have a lot of older people who experience homelessness. It's someone's daughter who has fallen upon hard times, or a family who lost their job. People, I think, have stereotypes of homeless people or people who need affordable housing as being not being people, but presenting problems. And I think when somebody moves into a home in a community and connects with their neighbors, can be part of the local street watch, or they're home. They're like you and me.
Our community, our county, was really on the road to ending homelessness, and we were making great strides every year. There was a commitment on the part of the government, a wonderful partnership both with the county and with the federal government, but because of the difficult financial times our county's had the last few years, it's really kind of been stalled. This is an issue that with the right resources, financial resources, and political will, homelessness really can be ended. Or as I like to say, let's make it very rare and very brief. There still might be people becoming homeless, but let's try to prevent it, because it's also more cost effective to prevent it. It costs less, just in pure dollars, to prevent homelessness. And then once someone is homeless, let's make it very brief, because there's no benefit in prolonging their homelessness. Find out what they need, and let's provide it to them.
There's something called the Continuum of Care, which is basically all of the homeless people in Montgomery County are served by a network of different agencies, and they each have a social worker assigned to them, a case manager assigned to them, to help them identify and move into the best available housing that's the most appropriate for their living situation.
Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless was started in the early 90s and incorporated in the mid-90s, but in 2005 we realized that we need an infrastructure or an arm to create housing in order to end homelessness. So we established Coalition Homes, and we now have housing not only in Takoma Park, but Silver Spring, Gaithersburg, Germantown, Bethesda. We're committed to solving homelessness in Montgomery County, and we work with our county partners. If there's vacant or abandoned properties or blighted properties or homes that have been boarded up, that are not helpful to the community, we're available to help renovate them and get the right resources to support the tenants in them.
We work very closely with Montgomery County, Maryland. They have their own sources of housing development finance called HIF, and Rick Nelson, the Director of Department of Housing and Community Affairs, was here speaking today. He's one of our very close allies. We're in constant contact with that department, figuring out, what resources might be available, appropriate to what projects we might be able to identify out in the community to increase the stock of housing available to help so that we can reduce the number of people who are homeless and find the most appropriate living situations for people who are homeless. The city of Takoma Park is also involved in a partial tax exemption on this property and the other ones that we own in Takoma Park, so they're a very important ally for us. And also the state of Maryland is involved with an operating grant on this. And so just all these entities of government and the private foundations that have assisted, you know, it takes a lot of hands, it takes a lot of players. You know, an older building like this, renovate it, make very good homes out of it, and then provide the subsidies so that for people of low income to continue to live there into the future.
I say to you today, my friends, that in spite of all the differences and frustrations of the moment,
I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
We hold this truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, and the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at a table of brotherhood.
I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low.
The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
This is our hope. This is our faith, which I return to the south.
With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, and to struggle together. To go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day.
This will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with a new meaning.
My country, taste of the sweet land of liberty, of the I sing, land my father died, land of the pilgrims, pride from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
And if America is going to be a great nation, this must become true.
So let freedom ring for the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire.
Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania.
Let freedom ring to the snowcaps of rocky Colorado.
Let freedom ring through the curvaceous slopes of California. Let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia.
Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill, molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring.
And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring,
when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, to a day when all of God's children, black men, white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants, Catholics, be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, freedom at last, free at last, free at last.
This was a fantastic event. We had, 250, 300 people show up, and it was a great cross-section of the community. I was really impressed with not only the number of people that showed up, but the enthusiasm. How many of the people said they had gone out and done service work today in honor of Dr. King?
We had a good crowd tonight. I was real happy to see all these people here. We were hoping to get people from all different parts of Takoma Park together in a big event that would be for everybody. And we were real pleased to see so many people here. That was wonderful.
The next time you're in the position of feeling down, stressed, worried, concerned, not really clear about how your day is going, look for someone to help. I think we were able to recreate the spirit that Martin Luther King stood for. I'll say one great thing about Martin Luther King is that a lot of people get mixed up and consider him just a black, because he was black African-American hero. But I think Dr. Martin Luther King transcended that and became a prophet for the people. He talked about diversity. I don't really like singing "We Shall Overcome." I believe we should sing "We Have Overcome." And I think this is a representation of what he was dreaming about. Today, on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, in honor of him, in honor of all the unsung heroes, I want to say, please, look forward to helping someone else.
Everybody walked with a smile and a warm feeling in their face, and believing in the story we're trying to transact. You know, Martin Luther King is not some legacy alone that we mention here and there and don't bring the legacy into our life. This is to say, you know, in a little pieces, we can live the legacy and we can create an engaged community by doing simply hi, by saying hi, by having a place like this to break bread together and sing together. We can build the community. So we wanted to engage the dream, live the dream. So what happened was fantastic. Unless we communicate, unless we talk, unless we build relationship, no other thing is possible. So that's what we try to bring into everybody's conscious mind, or deliberately to tell them, unless we open each other's door to each other, unless we care about each other, because not to be good, for our own sake, for our own, to enrich our own lives. So the simplest message was, you need to communicate, you need to be together, you need to say to each other, how are you, and mean it. Then all other problems can be handled together. It will be possible to create a better tomorrow for all of us.
I got a question!
Have you traveled this far and not discovered how efficacious grace is? We were kept by grace. We were saved by grace. We are awakened every morning by grace.
But mercy diagnoses the situation.
But grace fills the prescription.
But mercy finds you when you're lost.
But grace takes you home.
Mercy cleanses the leper spots.
Grace saves the sin-sick soul. Grace makes the wounded whole. Yeah. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. G-Force want to say, happy birthday to Martin Luther King Jr. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
worked in Takoma Park for 30 years. It's always been the potential for having a wonderful crowd across the barriers, across the boundaries, to cross the bridges. It's always been here, and once in a while it happens, and tonight it happened, and I think it's the best reason to live in Takoma Park.
We all learned a lot today, and it was very, very nice, well put together.
I think it was beautiful. It's a nice event. I like to see more activities like this in this community.
My favorite part was when everybody was performing and we were singing and we were just joining together and having a good time.
But that's all right. That's all right. I know that Jesus will fix it. After a while, trouble in my way. I have to cry sometimes. Come on, clap your hands. Oh, so much trouble. I have to cry sometimes. I lay awake at night. But that's all right. 'Cause I know that Jesus after a while stepped in the furnace long time ago. Said I can be and up in ego, but they weren't worried. But this I know, 'cause I know that Jesus after a while, oh, I know Jesus will fix it.
What I like about Martin Luther King is he sacrificed a lot so that we were all able to sit in here together as one, blacks, whites, all ethnicities. Everybody was able to come together as one to enjoy what he died for.
The thing I think that the young people can learn from Dr. King is not just all the great work he did for civil rights and for social justice, but what he taught us about having a dream and then working towards that dream and working to fulfill each of our dreams. We should all be doing that, and it would be a much better world.
He was a good man and that he was very courageous and he gave his life for freedom and civil rights, and I'm just happy that we could all be together without any separation.
I like that he stands for nonviolence and he stands for liberty and equality for all people.
Collages have gold leaf. I've pulled apart books. I've used Van Dyke prints, which is an alternative printing technique. I've used a variety of encaustic monoprints. So I have a number of different kinds of materials all integrated into the collages. Some are 3D texture, others are flat, but many of them have gold leaf as well. Well, the inspiration for the drawings were movement and dance. Each of these women's silhouettes have been created by pressing charcoal through antique Asian silk screens, which is why you might see flowers or designs of some sort. Well, I've been making art at my first art show when I was in 6th grade. I've been making art all my life. It was the best way I could speak. It became my voice. I think one of the reasons some people choose art is because they respond to color, shape, design. And I was that kind of child when I was young, and hope to continue until I draw my last breath.
Most of my ideas come actually from like my dreams and stuff. Like I've always kind of daydreamed a lot when I just throughout the day, thinking as I do things, going, wow, this will make a really good painting if I just kind of do this and I do this and I do this, and that's kind of where they end up coming out the way they do. My family's from Trinidad, and most of we're Cuban, Portuguese, and Indian, and it pulls from all those things, from the colors to the subject matter to the feel of it. It all merges together in my daydreaming.
I think we have a crew of regulars who consistently show up, and then we occasionally will get, a crew from the recreation department who's able to sort of pretty much fill the room depending on what things they have scheduled. There's kids who might not participate in an ordinary book club where you get to highlight a book and discuss it, but who might participate in something like this where you get to read the story out loud and not just pick it up with your eyes, but hear it at the same time.
I've a mind for justice, you see, but I am the quartermaster, and should you shirk your duties or use your fellow sword?
It's just something really fun that sort of, if your kids are interested in comic books, like listening to them getting read and stuff.
I like that they take both pictures and words with his panels of this book compared to other comic books. I think that the only reason why they keep them small is because the book is kind of small. I believe for school, they still count just reading something.
I like how you get introduced to like new books or comic books, and like so now you have like a wider variety of like what you want to read. I like G-Man because it's like, it's kind of like, it's just like this character that is like a superhero, and he has all these all these obstacles he has to face. Sometimes you can relate, like say like, that's funny, because like one time I had that same problem or a problem related to that, and most of the time the books are like really funny. Oh, I think his drawings are like awesome. They're like the best.
You have to like say something that's that he can do fast, because sometimes he leaves early.
Hot, fresh you mean? Straight off the steaming carcass? No, it got hot when the trees went hot. They ate bits of this hot dead animal.
Oh, isn't this great, Cousin Donald? They're just about to catch that werewolf.
Cool Your Jado's Feathery is just a movie and not even a very good one.
I grew up as a kid reading comics myself and drawing comics, and I found that the harder you work and the more responsible you are in your job, in some respects, the more freedom you can get to sort of play and improvise within that job. So essentially, the more you're doing things that you love to do, the harder you will work at it, and the more you can sort of be generous and share your talents. Pretty much find a way to do what you love and love what you do.
In March 2009, 7 of us sat around a table and we thought, how can we make Takoma Park more playful? And the mayor was there, and there were a couple super seniors, and then there were young parents that have young children, and so wide range. And we basically talked, and everybody gave different ideas. And then I brought up, there's this organization, Kaboom, and if we come up with an action plan, we can send in an application, and who knows, maybe they'll make us a playful city. Well, guess what? In July, we were named a playful city in 2009, so 3 years in a row.
This is my very first play day, and I hope I have a nice time.
That's all you have to do after you retire. And if you have competition in your blood, you need to play.
So I enjoy playing because I'm older and I have something to do. It gives me something to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
do you play?
As many chances as I can get, whenever I can.
Okay,
I do,
well,
yeah.
look, let me tell you something. When you are not busy, come in and play with us.
I will. Thank you very much. So this is the second midwinter?
Yes,
okay.
wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yes, yes it is. We strive for some time in February. It's kind of like, what do you do in February? And since I don't know if we're going to get snow, maybe this weekend, but you can always play indoors, but hopefully you're playing something that you're being kind of active. Judy, our dress-up lady, how can you forget Judy? She was just fantastic. That before this even started tonight, people were into the dress-up clothes, ready to go.
All right, how's it coming? You guys ready yet? What are you dressed up as today?
I don't know. I let children dress me.
Can we get a shot? Can you turn around so we can see? What are you today?
A butterfly.
Are these wings that you have? Yeah. Turn around, let me see your wings. These are pretty. I like these wings a lot. How do you guys like how play day is going today?
I like it because it's like all fun and stuff, and you can do you can pick anything.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can only pick one thing, and you can't. It's like limited on how much stuff you can wear and stuff.
Yeah, we brought our son. He's 7, and he is down there running around somewhere. He's having fun.
Is it fair to call you all laughing yogis?
Yeah, it's a good way to say it.
Yeah, why not? I like it. A yogi is someone who practices yoga and is generally, somewhat proficient at it. So we're proficient in laughing, right?
Yes. Oh, maybe we're trying to become. We call it Lighten Up Club because laughing helps us lighten up. And to find more information, you can just visit www.lightenupclub.com. And we meet in Takoma Park once a month for now. So you're all welcome to come. Everyone can laugh and everyone can join. The sessions were for adults and kids, and it was mostly kids watching adults laughing and being silly and making fun of themselves.
After our second outdoor play day, Phil Shapiro, one of our members, said, hey, we need a winter play day. So we had our first winter play day in 2011. And then right after that play day, I'm walking the dog down the street, and this man says to me, he was here tonight, Dan said, Pat, I know when you're going to have your next winter play day. I'm like, Dan? And he said, you know when you're going to have your next winter play day. And here, he said, what's our zip code? like 20912, and before we knew it, I said, that's a cool idea, very clever. So, got the committee together, and everybody said, yeah, let's move forward with that.
Thought of having a play day on 20912, they should be given the key to the city, because it was such a good idea. But wait a second, maybe they shouldn't get the key to the city, maybe they should have the keyboard to the city. We're here in the puzzle and origami room. The kids behind me are having a lot of fun. They had a lot of laughter. They're working on puzzles together. Jonathan Anderson is our origami expert, and he knows how to fold paper and make all sorts of stuff. He's a 5th grader.
And we have a new member, Esther, who brought Katatu to teach that game, and we had people come from the Victory Tower to come play intergenerational games here. And so we had people of all age playing board games. And
we play a variety of different games from traditional like chess and backgammon to some of the modern Euro games like Race for the Galaxy, Ticket to Ride, Carcassonne, Settlers of Catan, you know, that sort of thing. So we're kind of an eclectic group. We also play bridge there, and we also play Rummikub, just to give us some variety. Anybody can show up. The program is free. We tried to bring a little bit of some of all of our games here, just to give people an idea of the type of games that we have. So, and I've been the demonstrator and teacher and player in all of those tonight.
It was so important that we now have a community center, that people come together in the community center to play, because play brings down, it erases the boundaries between different people. And people get to say hi to a neighbor that they might have seen on the street or seen at school. But here, when you're playing together, it's a different kind of a connection. And what's particularly nice is when I saw a little girl I know who's in 1st grade talking with Dottie, who's 95. And it was such a nice moment because they were sharing a moment together in the community center. And in a play setting, that is totally natural. And if the setting wasn't a play event, it might not be a natural occurrence, that conversation.
Move, move here, move there, here, move there, move everywhere. Here we go. All night.